Hey, it's Ryan Moody here, helping you to fish smarter, not harder. In this week's blog, we're going to show you a little knot that I've actually invented myself, or I think I have anyway. I haven't got 100 hours spare to scour the internet to see if someone else has done it before me, but they have, they can take the credit. Otherwise, I'm going to show you this little knot because it's all about going through the micro jigging guides, and it's good for those who find it hard to tie the FG knot. Initially, on our blog post, we have showed you the old traditional system of the wind-on leader technique, which has always been either a bimini twist or a spider hitch double down to an Albright knot leader. But the trouble is, when you go to a jigging rod, which is very popular these days jigging, on the end of the rods we have what's called micro guides. Small, very small guides. Now the traditional Albright knots have got the little bump on the front of them from where the leader folds over, and that always jams on the way in as you're winding the rod in. So that's why the FG knot is basically used by a lot of people these days. But it is very hard to tie, so I've got something that's going to maybe help the novices. All it is basically a build-up in front of the knot, but how we tie that into the knot, I'm going to show you. And just to recap, especially for the beginners, the reason why we don't use swivels and we use the wind-on leader technique is so that you can wind your leader, which is your heavier part of your line for rubbing and stuff, onto your rod, which means you can use a longer piece for when you're fishing around structure. If you use a short piece of leader, well, there's a very good chance a fish like a coral trout or a mangrove jack or something, or a finger mark, will cut you off on your main lead, on your main line somewhere. But if you've got a good length of leader, say 5 or 6 feet, you can wind it onto your rod and you don't have to worry about swivels jamming in your rod tip, and you can still cast it and flick it in close. Now we've jumped in the boat now to tie the knot, and that's where we normally tie our knots. What we've done already is I've already tied my bimini twist double, that's the double knot, and we do have a great tip on our blog to show you how to tie the bimini twist, so there'll be a link on here somewhere to that knot as well. So we've already tied that. What we're going to do now is this knot I'm going to show you that I've modified is basically, it's an Albright knot, except halfway through I do a few different things to allow a build-up of line to pull down on top of the knot so it doesn't get stuck on your guides as it runs through. It runs through nice and neat like an FG knot can. Okay, first up, as usual with the Albright knot, fold over your tag so you've got about 1 inch of tag. Right, and then what I'm doing now is I'm laying that line on top, the main double line, pinching it on top and holding it down. So we've got that effect there now. Allow yourself a good 7 to 8 inches of tag because you're going to use half of that tag to tie this different part of the knot, so you do need a little bit of length in your tag. We go up around all those lines like you would a normal Albright knot. About 8 or 9 times. And then we simply go through the loop like you would when you finish one of these knots. Although with braid I would go through and then go back around and through to finish the knot off. But we've only gone through the loop once because we're going to do something different now. I'm going to hold that there where the crossover is. I'm going to move that leader out of the road. We're not going to go around that anymore. Now we're going to go up and go around the double line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and then simply that tag then goes across and it goes back through that loop of the leader. And we pull him all up tight, like so, wet it, give it a good wet, and then as we're pulling it tight with these 2 main lines, we also want to pull that tag at the same time, and that's when you use your teeth. So I'm just going to put that in my mouth and pull all these lines together. And you can see there's the knot, there's our tag, there's our build-up on the other side of the knot. Normally you've got that big lump there just in front of the end of the Albright knot, that's where the leader folds over, but now we have a nice little build-up of hitches in front of it, all pulled in and locked off inside the knot. Nothing can come undone. Super strong because it's a double strand knot as well, and you will not get a stronger double knot than that. And just as a reminder, as you're tying any double knot or any sort of leader knot, it always helps to keep this main line tight to your rod tip, act as your third hand. So there you have it, guys, a nice streamlined version of an Albright knot, the RMF knot. So if you're new to jigging and you don't like the FG and you keep having troubles with it, because sometimes people do snip the main piece of leader off too close with the toenail clippers, and they'll actually touch the braid and put an abrasion in it and it'll snap on them. I've seen that happen as well. So for those who don't like the FG, who don't want to change from traditional ways too much, try the RMF knot. So if you enjoyed this little tip and you'd like to see more, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and if you only want some tips that I send out by email only, head on over to www.ryanmoodyfishing.com and sign up for free email updates. Get into the great outdoors, keep fishing smarter, and I'll see you next time.